Hello and welcome to Gareth Jones on Speed, the podcast for petrol heads. With me, Gareth Jones.
And me, Zog.
Later in this podcast, we find out what's in it for motorsports marshals. They don't do it for the money.
People say, oh, you must get a lot of money for it. You don't. It's voluntary because we love the sport.
As well as that, we'll be playing you the sounds of motorsport that never get broadcast on TV and radio coverage, including the mystery of this odd buzzing noise we heard over the engine sounds at this year's Silverstone Grand Prix.
Do you know what that weird sound was? Also on the show, Zog and I will let you know about the best car websites around at the moment with a cunning tip on how to get into a subscription-only site for free.
And we'll be playing the inaugural round of Gareth Jones on Speed's own car game,
Car-nections.
Pick a card.
Any card.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it. And Gareth, now if you pick a card,
Yeah.
Can I look at it?
you can look at it, and they're the two cards you have to connect.
Okay. Oh.
Oh.
And you can play along too. Welcome to Gareth Jones on Speed. First off, though, the Hungarian Grand Prix. Zog, what did you make of the race?
Oh, action right from the go. Not the right kind of action.
No,
but,
that's true.
but action.
If you're in a Red Bull and you're Christian Clien doing a slow roll onto the roll hoop, courtesy of Jacques Villeneuve, ouch.
He has been bumping into a lot of people recently.
And there was also a bit of argy-bargy for some of the main players in the race as well, wasn't it?
Well, I
earlier on?
remember you actually predicting, one of the last things you said before the race went off was Fisichella is going to run to the side of Ralf Schumacher in the first corner. And yeah, so close. It was
actually Alonso.
It was his teammate.
Yeah, because Ralph's slow and he was in front of the Renaults, which start fast. The laws of physics said to me there's going to be a coming together there.
Yeah.
So the rest of the race, as it mapped out, proved once again how difficult it is to run two cars competitively and get them to the end, even for McLaren.
It was going to be a McLaren 1-2 until Montoya broke. And, this just makes me think of what Ron Dennis said a couple of years ago about how he would always rather have a fast, unreliable car than a slow, reliable car.
And then try and make it go fast.
Exactly.
So, as we look towards the championship now, we've still got Renault leading at 117, despite that win by Kimi today. McLaren at second place at 95, Ferrari at third place with 78, and with 50 points left, if you can win all 5 of the races that are still to go, then it could be any one of those 3 teams that win the Constructors' Championship. As far as the Drivers' Championship goes, where would you put your money, Zog?
Oh, clearly on Alonso. I mean, it's not over yet in either the Drivers' or the Constructors' Championship, but I think Alonso's going to take a lot of stopping. Renault did have a bit of a, they faltered a bit this weekend. They looked vulnerable, but I think they're going to pick it up, and they'll be. I think Alonso's going to take it this year.
But watch the resurgent Ferrari who are here to spoil it for everyone.
Michael Schumacher, Michael Schumacher, Michael Schumacher, the end.
One of the things that we saw in this race was, of course, that it is still hard to overtake in this sport. We saw it particularly with Alonso, who seemed to spend, he spent most of the race in 11th place. Couldn't get any further than that. And you had an interesting idea about this guy.
Well, I reckon, the lack of overtaking in F1 is blamed on, the narrowness of the circuits like Hungary and like Monaco. It's blamed on the reliability, the teams or the cars relying too much on aerodynamic downforce rather than mechanical grip from the tyres. So the plan is, give them big fat sticky tyres, whip the wings off and they'll overtake, and I think it won't work. My reasoning is that teams do everything they can to avoid having to overtake. We see it time and time again, as we saw in the race today with the McLaren, which was pulled in early to leapfrog a Ferrari. If you're behind another car, you don't want to risk overtaking. You want your car to run in clean air. So they constantly reevaluate their strategies to bring the cars in and put them out to avoid overtaking.
Yeah, bring them in so they can overtake in the pit instead of on the track. Now, this is a really interesting idea because I think you're spot on. I think this is absolutely happening. Although, of course, although the teams are forced into this position by the physics. If the physics were different, if it was easier to pass on the track, they wouldn't be doing this so much. But you've got this kind of you've got a feedback loop going on. It's hard to pass on the track. Yeah. Therefore, they are manipulating the strategies so that they're passing in the pits instead. said.
Well, that's our theory here on Gareth Jones on Speed. Let's see if it bears out. But I bet someone else will mention this before too long.
Well, let's see what happens. But if they change the physics, if they change the physics, maybe the tactics will change. Who knows?
Well, you know what they say. You can't change the laws of physics.
Our James Doohan respect, recently deceased.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyway, we don't just talk about motorsport. We do actually get out and about and see it in the real world sometime.
Yep.
And a couple of weeks ago, we were at Silverstone.
Yeah, we bought some tickets, went up to the stand at the Beckett's Maggots complex. I have difficulty saying that.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
We had a great position to watch this fantastic corner, didn't we?
Yeah, this kind of right, left, is it?
That's
on the hanger
it.
straight?
Yeah, that's correct, I think, from what I remember, where Christian Clien went off at the last right-hander twice.
Went off twice, yeah.
But the point is that we reckon we had about the best seat in the house, but of course there are people who've got even better seats in the house than us, and they're not the people in the Paddock Club.
No, they're the people on the inside of the circuit, the marshals, and we managed to grab a word with one of them.
Come on here, what's your name, sir?
Jason,
Jason, what's your job here? What are you doing?
I'm on the fire tender and snatch crew.
Now, there's been a lot of criticism, right, that F1 is boring, right? Now, surely the only thing more boring than an F1 race is marshalling at an F1 race. Why do you do it?
It's a social life as well. The social life is fantastic. People who say it's boring, it ain't. You come here, you're this side of the fence, whereas the public are that side of the fence. You get closer to the motor racing than anybody else can, unless you're doing it yourself. And the social life, we have a great social life. We're up here for 4 nights. Social life is great. It's the motor racing as well, and it's just great.
So, are you staying here at the circuit? Are you local?
Yeah, we've got a caravan up here. We're just a group. We've got 24 of us or so.
What, in one caravan?
No, we make our own little village in the campsite. We just have a great time, you know. So I come from Dunstable, but we come up here. We all meet up here, but we marshal all year round up here, you know, and we have various circuits. But it's a social life as well.
You've arguably got the very best position you can have right here. I mean, you know, any closer to the action, you'd be driving the car.
Well, almost, yeah.
How much do you get paid?
It's volunteered. It's all voluntary. People say, oh, you must get a lot of money for it. You don't. It's voluntary because we love the sport. And if it wasn't for marshalling, I think everyone knows if it wasn't for marshalling, racing wouldn't go ahead. Simple as that, you know.
How did you get involved then?
A friend of mine, 8 years ago, I come along as a spectator. I said, how do I get involved? Contacted the circuit and still here.
And have you met any of the drivers? Have you hauled any of the drivers out of their cars this weekend?
Thankfully, not today. Hopefully, they'll stay on the circuit to give the public a really good race, and hopefully, it'll be a really good race. You know, what went on in America the other week. You know, hopefully the same won't happen, but hopefully, we'll have a cracking race, and the cars are out now. The public love it. You know, they cheer, the flags go up, and everything.
Well, there goes Christian Clien in the Red Bull. If there was one driver that you had to help out this car, who would it be?
I'd have to be Jenson Button.
Why is that then?
The fans would go potty round here. The fans would go mad, and it's what the fans want to see. They want to be next to their hero.
Well, you're closer than they are. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Good luck.
You're welcome. Thank you. Cheers. Have a good day.
Cheers.
Jason's quite a Jenson Button fan then, isn't he?
I think he is.
There's a lot of Jenson, you'd expect it at the British Grand Prix.
You would, but not just Jenson. I was really surprised by how many Kimi fans there were.
Yeah.
Very, very strong.
A lot of Brummies who are Kimi Räikkönen fans. Yeah, I'm here for Kimi. The bloke said to me, I do like him. I like the finished driver. And Heikki Kovalainen's got followers too, hasn't he, in GP2?
Yeah,
I think.
Actually. The people that mentioned GP2 we talked to were all picking up a Kovalainen.
But Jenson was the overriding bloke of the day.
Definitely.
Although I'm there for Carth-Kane person, you know that.
Always a Jordan fan.
Now, we were there recording sound. Zog, you were doing all the work. All I did was stand around shouting at people. You were pointing
we were pointing the mic all over the place, and we were recording all kinds of sounds, all sorts of crowd noises, engine sounds, of course. Plenty of fantastic engine sounds to record. But one of the first things that I think we all noticed was quite an unexpected sound, and we're going to run it now.
Yeah. Have a listen to this. Listen very carefully. You're not just listening to the sound of the engine here. Here we go.
It's very loud, isn't it?
Did you hear that?
Now, there's this really strong kind of buzzing, really loud buzz that comes in over the engine sound, which is the sound of the rumble strips.
Yeah, listen again. You can hear the rumble strips as the tyres vibrate over that sort of jagged edge. You get a sound. Here it comes.
It's very loud, isn't it?
Now, it reads pretty well, I think. You know, you can hear it
comes
on
out
our
very well.
recording.
I mean, it's just, it's that sound that you get when you're on the motorway and you just sort of stray into, your wheels just get, a little bit too close to the central reservation. But, standing there by the track, it is so loud.
Now, I've been to lots of races. I mean, only been to the British Grand Prix twice, although I've been to Silverstone testing lots of times. But I don't ever remember noticing the sound of the rumble strips quite as loud as that before.
Do you reckon the curbs are different? Have they got sort of, are there more ridges, higher ridges, sharper ridges? Is there something different in the tyre construction?
The higher ridges would account for it, or the cars are going faster over the same ridges.
Yeah, they wouldn't be going that much faster, though, would they? I don't think they can account.
But maybe it is the tyre construction. The fact that they've got to build tyres now which are going to last the entire race means that they're more rigid than the floppy, rubbery, soft things that we had previously.
That's possible.
So if it's more rigid, is it more of a resonant soundboard like a guitar, or am I just reading into this too much? Let's just hear that rumble and buzz one more time. Go for it.
It's very loud, isn't it?
Well, if you've got any ideas about why that noise seems to be so loud now, then drop us a line.
Yeah, actually, you can do that. You can mail us at onspeed, all one word, at garethjones.tv. Onspeed at garethjones.tv.
Anyhow, speaking of sound, as well as the rumble strips and the engines, we were also speaking about a bit of crowd noise.
Yeah. It's something you never get when you're watching the TV. You never really hear what the partisans in the audience are shouting about and buzzing about. We did some recording when we were in the grandstand, so just have a listen to this. It really does capture the atmosphere, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Come on, Jason! Come on, Jason! Go on, Jason!
That'll be Jensen Button setting a time then.
And the whole stand obviously goes bonkers when Jensen does his thing.
Yeah, completely nuts.
But the best bit wasn't for him, was it?
It was, well, there was the reaction for, I love the reaction to Car-nections. There was this, the way there's this sort of,
Yeah.
and then everyone kind of laughs at everyone else's reaction.
Yeah.
Relieved ripple.
Well, that was because on his warm-up lap, his out lap before, he nearly lost it at the complex.
He did, didn't he?
And so when he came to do the lap itself, everyone went, ooh, there was a palpable tension.
I was
wasn't there?
expecting him to have a little bit of a problem there.
Best
but it was
shout.
Clean that went off there twice,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
It was definitely the place to watch Red Bull spinning to the gravel.
He was trying the hardest, and a good crowd pleaser. Glad Christian Clean's around.
Yeah, good fella. We thought we would, this week, take a look at a couple of our favourite websites. And Gareth, what have you got for us today?
I'm a big fan of Sniff Petrol.
Oh, yeah.
That's www.sniffpetrol.com. It's created, and I think I'm allowed to say this, by a lad called Richard, who's one of the Top Gear production team.
Right.
But I think he was working on Sniff Petrol before he got the job on Top Gear, and it's very funny. You know, I also think the name. Do you realise the why the name is symbolic? Sniff petrol. Do you know? What's important?
Sniffing petrol is bad for you. I know
Of
that,
course,
but,
yeah.
you
And
know,
we cannot condone that, of course.
It is a lovely smell, but it's not good for you.
But the original punk rock fanzine back in about 1976, the first fanzine was called
Sniffing Glue.
Sniffing Glue.
Yeah.
And so it's really appropriate that this, which is effectively a fanzine, a comedy motorsport fanzine, online, not just motorsport, but all car issues, is called Sniff Petrol. Can I read a typical headline?
Go right ahead.
It's a sort of a comedy, autosport on acid. I think we can say that. Hang on. Here we go. Headlines. Obituary. Formula 1, 1950 to 2005. Sniff Petrol is saddened to report the tragic death of Formula 1 motor racing. Following a long decline, F1 finally passed away in America on Sunday the 9th of June 2005. The sport was surrounded by friends and family. Although Formula 1 has been suffering from several maladies and needless complications for some time, the actual cause of death is yet to be confirmed. Many suggest it may have been hastened by being repeatedly abused and shat on by a prancing horse, but it is believed that the once-loved sport's actual demise was brought on by a number of other factors, including dangerously swollen egos, overexertion caused by money grabbing, and a bad reaction to certain kinds of rubber. It's lovely. I won't read you the whole thing because it's not my copyright, but I'm sure we're allowed a little snatch to tell you how good it is.
Extracts for reviewing purposes are okay under copyright.
The other headlines on there: MG Rover accidentally gives away man, and Smolensky has tantrum, sacks self. Sniffpetrol.com.
Very funny.
What have we got, Zog?
You've
got a tip, haven't you? A good tip.
I have for this first site Atlas F1, which recently merged with Autosport. It's Autosport Atlas. It is normally a subscription site. They have fantastic news, fantastic features, highly recommended, but you do have to pay to access it. However, they also have very excellent motorsport forums, and they're free. You can get to the forums, you can read the most fantastic threads on all manner of motorsport, nostalgia, current comment, and there's a wonderful technical forum.
You love that, don't you?
I do.
What's the best thing you've read about there
recently?
Well, I mean,
recently, fantastically detailed stuff on aerodynamics. I just picked out one recently. Where was this one? Oh, God,
you brought your homework in.
Here we go. Okay. You get a certain amount of very kind of deep engineering stuff that isn't strictly F1 related, but it's still interesting for petrol heads. And this one here, for example, what limits diesel engine revs? And there's a very detailed discussion from a lot of engineers that obviously really know their stuff about what exactly it is that means diesel engines don't rev very high. What are the limits?
So it's the physics of that.
It gets into the physics. It gets into the engineering. It gets into why diesel engine components have to be heavier than petrol engine components. How the carburation and fuel injection works. All this kind of stuff. You'd love it.
It's almost pornography for me. That's lovely.
We're going to have to move on from this very quickly.
And that's it. And your tip is, of course, you can actually find out the details of what's in the news without having to subscribe to Autosport and Atlas, because everyone's talking about it in the forums.
A lot of the best news is repeated in the forums. Absolutely.
Formula 1 isn't a sport, it's a religion.
You're listening to Gareth Jones on Speed. As we were driving back, me and my mate Zog here, from Silverstone the other day, the British Grand Prix the other week, we invented a game. Tell them about the game, Zog.
Car-nections. Fantastic way to spend time in the car if you just, you're passing those idle moments. What are you going to do? Car-nections. You pick two cars, at some sort of semi-random means, maybe...
Just anything driving by that's interesting.
Just pick them out.
Pick the first one.
And you've got to make a connection between them. So what's that? Cars, connections, a car-nection.
Very good, you see.
Now, normally you'd be picking them out on the motorway, but today we've got another way of picking out.
Yeah, my fantastic girlfriend Violet.
The random factor.
Okay,
me. I'm the random factor because I know nothing about cars, so there's absolutely no way that I could have thought of a connection on purpose between any cards I picked out. Furthermore, I'm picking cards out right now from a Top Trumps pack, which I'm shuffling in front of the microphone. And this particular Top Trumps pack is of cars from the Gumball Rally, so you're not allowed to make that as the connection, okay? So Zog, pick a card.
I haven't seen these cards before, I have to say.
Okay.
That one there.
And Gareth, you've not played these before either, have you?
I'm looking at my
Right,
card.
right. I've got my card. Oh, I've got two. Right.
Okay, what have you got there?
Gosh. I've got a 2000 Brabus S V12 megacar. So it's the Brabus version of the Mercedes S-Class. Brabus.
Okay, well, I've got a 2002 Ferrari 550 Maranello. Okay, well, both V12 engined.
In one.
There we go.
In one. That's pretty simple.
Nice, simple.
Very good.
But which one would win in Top Trumps?
In Top Trumps, okay. Choose a category, go on.
Okay,
Go on,
okay,
cool.
all right, hang on. I'm going to choose engine capacity.
Engine capacity. Okay, my engine capacity is...
Go on.
Tell me what yours is.
Mine's 5,474.
How am I going to beat that?
I don't know.
What, 5,400? 5.5 litre engine.
Yeah, well, it's giving it in millilitres.
My
What's up,
Brabus
CC?
V12 megacar has got 6,700 cc's. I win that one, I think.
You do.
Car-nections, there you go. Play it yourself. And if you've got any suggestions of cars you'd like to try and see us link, send it to the usual address for Gareth Jones on Speed, which is onspeed@garethjones.tv.
That's it. Car-nections, even better than Top Trumps.
Gareth Jones on Speed! You've been listening to Gareth Jones on Speed in the next downloadable edition of this programme. A bit of, you tell them, Zog.
Bit of PS2 action. We're going to be playing F1 2005.
Yes, we're going to cancel our entire life and play that between now and the next show and tell you all about it. I mean, in the meantime, we're going to finish on a bit of music. It's right, isn't
Finish on a bit of finish.
Oh, very good, because it is Finnish music, you see. Yeah. Now, most Grand Prix seem to finish with either the Spanish national anthem or the Finnish national anthem, these days anyway. And,
It's getting played quite a lot.
I learnt this song when Mika Hakkinen used to win, right? It's the national anthem of Finland. You'll know the tune because you've heard it so many times, but do you know the words, right? Now, if you want to sing along, the words are available on the website, garethjones.tv, and follow the On Speed button. Do you want to read them through, Zog, first, just so we know?
Well, you have to tell me if my pronunciation is correct.
Yeah, go on.
I'm not quite so well up on this as you, but Oimame Swa...
Swami, yeah.
Oimame Swami Sinoma
Yeah.
Soisana Kultainen.
That's
I
right.
lak soi ai kukula.
Yeah.
I veta ranta rakampa.
Yeah.
Queen Kutima Taipodranen. Makalis ASEAN.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that-
It's almost like having Mika Salo in the room with us, isn't it? Or Heikki Kovalainen. Yeah.
I've got the blonde mane and everything.
And the chiseled thing, the chiseled cheekbones, right, of the Finns. Now I've got my guitar in because we're going to start in a. Now the first note is this, right? Oi, oi, mame, so like that. Here we go.
Okay.
Join in if you've got the words in front of you. It goes like this. Oi, mame, so mi sinima, soy sana kultainen. Join in. E laksa e kukula el veteran tarakkampa koin kotimata pojoinen makalisisien. Gareth Jones on Speed was a ridiculous production.